Paris in the late 19th century. Horse-drawn omnibuses, ladies in lavish dresses, and gentlemen in top hats against the backdrop of Notre Dame. This photograph, like a time machine, transports us to the Belle Époque before it was swept away by world wars and revolutions. Urban planning before the advent of computer programs, when architects had to work literally in the field. To make changes to the master plan, engineers crawled on their knees across giant maps, proving that the scale of the project sometimes required physical effort as well. NASA employee Patricia Conklin manually assembles a mosaic from photographs of the surface of Mars taken by the Mariner 9 probe, 1971. In the era before digital technology, creating a map of another planet required not only computers but also painstaking manual labor. The final of the NCAA Student Championship in 1979, where Larry Bird and Magic Johnson faced off for the first time. This match marked the beginning of the greatest individual rivalry in basketball history, which would define the development of the entire league for a decade to come. Actress Jean Tierney relaxes in a gondola during a trip to Venice mid-1940s. Far from the hustle and bustle of Hollywood, one of the most beautiful women of her time could afford to simply relax and enjoy the moment, away from cameras and spotlights. One of the first Siemens vacuum cleaners, 1906. This bulky machine, more like a Zeppelin engine, required the efforts of several people, but for wealthy housewives of that time, it was a true marvel of technology that promised to rid them of dust. A circus hippopotamus named Lotus pulls its trainer in a cart, 1924. This unusual attraction was popular in America in the 20s and proved that not only horses could be used as draft animals. Damascus, Syria, the 70s. These bright flared trousers, miniskirts, and fashionable hairstyles are a reminder that before the start of the Civil War, Damascus was one of the most secular and modern capitals in the Middle East. July 1990, a German wall woodpecker smashes the Berlin Wall with a sledgehammer. After the fall of the Iron Curtain, thousands of people from all over the world came to Berlin to chip off a piece of the concrete that had become a symbol of a divided Europe for themselves as a souvenir. A stockbroker tries to sell his luxury car for $100 in cash after the Wall Street crash in 1929. This photograph, where a man who was rich yesterday is ready to give away his car for a pittance, became one of the most vivid symbols of the Great Depression. Dean Martin and Angie Dickinson on the set of the western Rio Bravo, 1959. Despite the fact that Martin played a depressive drunkard, off-camera he was the life of the party and constantly flirted with his co-star. The Athenian Acropolis in 1910, 2 years before the start of the Balkan Wars, which would forever change the map of Europe. In this photograph, the ancient ruins rise above a city still untouched by development, a reminder of the greatness of the past before the storms of the future. The transportation of a Viking ship through the streets of Oslo. This unique archaeological find, discovered in 1904, became a national treasure of Norway and a symbol of its rich history. Yosemite National Park, 1903. In the absence of ski resorts and lifts, tourists entertained themselves by simply sliding down snowy slopes on whatever they could find, proving that you don't always need expensive technology to have fun. Actress Veronica Lake in the 40s. Her signature peekaboo hairstyle covering one eye became so popular that the U.S. government asked her to change her image because female workers in war factories imitating her were getting injured when their hair got caught in machinery. The Beach Boys, the kings of surf rock in the early 60s. The irony was that out of the entire group, only one member, Dennis Wilson, knew how to surf, and for the others, the board was just part of their stage image. The diving horse attraction, popular in America in the early 20th century. A female rider on a horse would jump from a 12-meter tower into a pool, and this cruel by today's standards entertainment drew crowds of thrill seekers. The hand and torch of the future Statue of Liberty at an exhibition in Philadelphia, 1876. To raise money for the pedestal, the French sent a part of the statue to America, and anyone who wished could climb up to the balcony of the torch by contributing to the construction. Extras in Roman legionary costumes relax on a Vespa scooter on the set of the film Ben-Hur, 1959. This amusing photograph is a striking clash of two eras, ancient Rome and modern Italy. Flight attendants in the cabin of a Boeing 747 in the 60s. In the golden age of aviation, the flight attendant's uniform was a work of design art, and they themselves were not just service personnel, but the face of the airline and a symbol of prestige. Photographer Bruce Davidson captured this tired circus performer in 1958. Behind the bright makeup and costume is not fun. but hard work and a nomadic life, where rare moments of rest are spent in the dirt and dampness behind the scenes of the big top. This is Kamala Harris in the late 80s, long before she became Vice President of the United States. In those years when she was in law school, no one could have imagined that this girl with a short haircut and a serious gaze would one day enter big politics. A shot from the filming of Lawrence of Arabia in 1962. Actor Alec Guinness, already a world star, agreed to the role of an Arab prince, while the yet unknown Omar Sharif got his role after 20 other actors who did not believe in the success of a film about the desert turned it down. A prototype lawnmower with air conditioning from the 50s. This futuristic machine with a glass dome never went into mass production, remaining one of the strangest and most impractical inventions of its era. The aftermath of the most powerful earthquake in U.S. history, Anchorage, Alaska, 1964. This photograph, where an entire street has been reduced to ruins, clearly shows the destructive power of nature, before which man is absolutely powerless. Stephen Hawking with his first wife, Jane Wilde. They married when he had already been given a terminal diagnosis and only 2 years to live, but their marriage lasted for 30 years, becoming a symbol of love and self-sacrifice. The launch of the first rocket from Cape Canaveral, July 1950. This modest by today's standards launch marked the beginning of the American space program, which would take a man to the moon just 19 years later. Iranian girls before the Islamic Revolution of 1979. These free and modern images are a reminder of a lost world, where women had far more rights and freedoms than they do today. This is Jungle Pam, one of the most famous backup girls in the world of drag racing in the 70s. She was not just a beautiful addition to the racer Jungle Jim, but a real showman who got the crowd going with her revealing outfits and dances. These are not just students, but future teachers in Kabul, Afghanistan in the 70s. This photograph is a reminder of a lost world when Kabul was a secular city and women had access to education and could pursue careers on par with men. French athlete Charles Rigoulot, early 20th century. He was not just a strong man, but an Olympic champion in weightlifting, a racing driver, and a member of the French resistance, proving that true strength is not only muscles, but also character. Actress Sally Field in 1977. That same year, the film Smokey and the Bandit was released, which made her a superstar and one of America's most beloved actresses. The main hall with the card catalog at FBI headquarters, 1944. In the pre-computer era, all information about millions of Americans was stored in these endless rows of cabinets, and finding the right file required hours of painstaking work. On the arm of this seasonal worker from Ohio in 1939 is tattooed his Social Security number, which had been introduced just 4 years earlier. For the generation of the Great Depression, this number on their body became a symbol of the only government guarantee in their old age. Physicist Harold Agnew holds the plutonium core of the Fat Man atomic bomb that would be dropped on Nagasaki. This photograph, where the scientist is smiling while holding the most destructive weapon in history, is a chilling reminder of how science can serve evil. This is John Brown, one of the most ardent abolitionists in the United States. In 1859, he and a group of his supporters tried to incite a slave rebellion but was captured and executed, becoming a martyr in the eyes of some and a terrorist in the eyes of others. A Philips refrigerator from 1956 with a built-in radio. In an era when home appliances were not just utilitarian items but objects of luxury and pride, designers tried to combine several functions in one device. Hop pickers in England use stilts, 1928. This centuries-old tradition allowed workers to move quickly between the tall rows of plants, turning ordinary agricultural work into a real circus performance. This is not a movie prop, but a real punt gun from the early 20th century, capable of taking down up to 50 birds on the water with a single shot. Its use led to the near-complete extermination of waterfowl and was banned as unsportsmanlike and barbaric hunting. A young Stephen Colbert in 1984 while still a student. In this smiling guy with a funny hairstyle, it is difficult to recognize the future caustic satirist and one of America's most influential television hosts. Female ice deliverers, 1918. During the First World War, when most men went to the front, women had to master difficult male professions, proving that they could handle any job. Representatives of the Tlingit indigenous people in Alaska, 1912. This photograph is a reminder of a rich and unique culture that the American government tried to destroy for years, but which survived thanks to the strength of spirit of these people.